Hi, welcome. Thank you
Hey,
so
good
much for
morning.
joining us today. Um, we are live, so we're just waiting. We're giving it a few seconds to see, make sure everything's loading correctly, make sure everything's going right. So, again, thank you for joining us. My name is Amelia Serrano. I work here at Meador Staffing Services at the Clear Lake branch. I have been working with this company for about 2 years now, and I am joined by.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Ashley Bray. I work as a recruiting coordinator for the Woodlands branch, Meador Staffing here in the Woodlands. And I have been in this position for going on 2 years as well. So we're kind of just right there together. So I love it.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah.
So today what we'll be doing is talking about how to be an honest and proactive job seeker. So first, let us talk about what it means to be an honest job seeker. It is very important that as someone who is looking for employment, that you are as open and as transparent as you can be. They want to make sure that they are looking for somebody that has the experience and possibly, cultural fit of what they're looking for. So, Ashley, I'm going to let you go ahead and start with on how to be honest on your resume.
Okay, great. So, what does it mean to be honest on your resume as an active job seeker? And what that means is that you're going to be as honest and as transparent as you can be with the information that you've given provided through your resume. And what that means is that you are not going to be lying about how long you've been with a company. You want to make sure that you know your dates of employment, you know the companies that you've been with, and that you can provide enough detail about each job. For what bullet points that you have provided through that resume, you just want to make sure that all of that is as honest and true as you can be according to the job that you were doing there. You know, the biggest thing I think, believe it or not, is that references do get checked. Us people here in the staffing industry, we do take the time to make those phone calls and to really make sure that we are cross-referencing the information that you're providing us to make sure that it is as honest as possible, from what you've provided. And then also, be prepared to speak about any gaps in your resume that, that may be there because, we're all humans, things happen, and we do all have situations. And so you want to make sure that you have a clear and direct way of communicating that to whoever it is you're sitting in front of, whether it be somebody from Better Staffing or one of our clients that we've landed an interview for you. You just want to make sure that you are providing as much honest information as you can with your resume. Whether, like I said, whether that means dates, the times that you were employed, who a supervisor was, even smaller things like that. I could just say talking across from people all the time. Those are really the big things that I kind of look for. And so I guess just kind of rolling with that, I'm going to have throw it back to you, Amelia, about being honest on an application and how that kind of goes hand in hand with the resume itself.
Okay, thank you so much, Ashley. So being honest on an application. So a lot of times you're going to be filling out applications online. Maybe you're going through Indeed or ZipRecruiter. A lot of times they'll have screener questions. Well, you want to be sure that you are answering that as honest as possible. For example, maybe you're applying for a teller position, and perhaps they are requiring a year or two experience as a teller. If you have not worked as a teller, don't say that you've had 1 or 2 years experience. And simply it's because the recruiter does read your resume. They'll go through the questions and then they'll look at your resume to see where you've had that experience. And if they don't see it on there, then they will pass on your resume. I know for me, it's a red flag if someone states that they've had experience, but then I can't find it. I don't know if it's because I don't have an updated resume, or maybe perhaps, they simply don't have the experience. So just make sure that you're honest on those questions. Also, don't necessarily embellish your skill sets. I know for some of those websites, it'll have a place where you can put you're advanced or you're an expert, what level of expertise you have with a certain computer program. You want to make sure that you are being as honest on that as possible, because if maybe an employer wants to find someone that's an expert level Excel user. Maybe you're pretty good at it. You know, you want to make sure that you're not saying you're an expert, because they may expect you to simply run with it and not train you on it, and expect that you know ins and outs of it, and maybe even teach them a thing or two. So, you know, make sure that you're not over promising and under delivering whenever you're talking about your skills. Also, you want to make sure that you're paying attention to the location of the job. So if you know, if it's going to be within a commute that you can do, I know right now a lot of people are looking for jobs. They're thinking to themselves, I need this job, I need to work somewhere, anywhere. Well, set yourself up for success. Find something that's going to be fairly close to you, or something that you don't mind driving every single day. Think about that. You're going to be making this drive every single day. So you want to make sure that it's going to be something that you can do. And so, Ashley, I'll go ahead and let you talk about maybe the interview process. And if you can, just, I know that it's a little difficult to hear you a little bit. So if you could just speak up a bit, that would be great.
Sure. Yes, absolutely. That's the live world that we're living in. So, yes. So going into the interview process, and I actually really like the last point that you made about just paying attention about what part of town you're going into, as far as how well, how far are you willing to travel? Being honest in the interview, that's a huge part of that, because you don't want to give any expectations or anything like that you can't follow through with. And don't, just adding to that, don't say that you're open for any job. You want to make sure that you're going in with the preferences that that you have, the skill set that you have, and that you're going to be able to deliver on those things whenever, someone is sitting across from you asking you, if you're advanced in Excel, or like you said, you may not have that opportunity to get training. So you want to always make sure that those things are valid and that they're updated as much as possible. If you are rusty on something, be honest about that too. You might have a skill set, and that might apply to a position that you would qualify for. But just make sure that that you're actually proficient, and that it's not just I'm open to any job just out of desperation for needing a job, And honestly, we get a lot of people that are coming in that are applying, and they have other offers on the table. Be honest about that. That's part of our connection process. We're not just here to place you in a job. We're here to also connect with you on a level as a person. And I want to know, if you are applying for an accounting position, and maybe you're doing something administrative here as well. And those two things, you might have great skill sets. But if you're, if you have a goal set higher for another job, maybe that's something that we can help you with, even get prepared for even more, whatever the case may be. But I want to know that experience as well. And then also just remember to be confident about who you are and what you're bringing to the table. This is never a bragging moment. It's your shining star moment. You want to convey that, yes, I'm a shining star. I'm at advanced level, QuickBooks or whatever the software may be. You want to make sure that what you're good at is being conveyed in such a way in that interview that you're confident about it, the employer's confident about it, and you can meet somewhere in the middle. And they're going to know that too. No one ever is assuming that it's a brag. It's a good thing when you're confident with yourself. So, and I guess just going into that as well, I would say, what does it mean also just to be a proactive job seeker? And I'm going to hand that over to you, Amelia.
Thank you. So being proactive is just that. You're active. You don't want to be reactive. You don't want to necessarily just simply wait for that dream job to pop up on that job board. There's a couple of things that you can do to kind of get ahead. First is, of course, networking. So, networking back in the day was, going to a mixer after hours and handing out business cards. Of course, that's not necessarily something that can be done today. However, you do have social media platforms that you can take advantage of. So even Facebook itself, they have different groups that you can join. They have different postings that you can look at. LinkedIn, make sure you have a presence with LinkedIn, because a lot of recruiters, a lot of employers will look over that information. They'll try to find someone that maybe is within that industry. And so having that presence is very helpful. Also, whenever you are going to different websites and applying, make sure that you are keeping track of what you're applying for. And the reason why I say that is because I know I sometimes get phone calls and they'll ask for me, they say, I saw an ad and I was advised to give you a call, and I'll ask them, oh, great, you know, which position were you applying for? And you know, they'll pause and they'll not know what to say because they don't remember. So just make sure that you have all that information in front of you before you start reaching out. That way it's going to be fast. They'll know who to send you to, if you're talking to the right person or not. Also, you want to make sure that if you are communicating through those platforms, you're checking that communication on a daily basis. When I look at applicants that are applying for jobs I'm working on, if I see them and I like them, I will call them immediately. And of course, you know, not everybody answers the phone from numbers that they're not familiar with, and I get that. I do leave a voicemail, so check your voicemails, check your emails, check any platform that you're on to see if that's the only way that they can communicate you with. Because we don't want you to miss out on any opportunity, especially now. It's very difficult. It seems to be very difficult to, you know, find something that's within your commute, that's within your skill sets and everything. So don't miss that opportunity. So really, you know, that's in a nutshell when it comes to being proactive. Of course, you know, there may be other ways, you know, you may be able to research companies if there's specific job tracks that you're looking for. You know, it doesn't hurt to do your research. Do your research, see what's out there, see who's hiring, but just be active. So really I think that concludes just kind of what we're talking about. I'm not sure if we had any questions that were posted that maybe we've missed. One thing I do want to mention, now that I remember, is during the interview process, whenever you are explaining gaps or you're explaining having multiple jobs in a short amount of time, you want to be sure that you are focusing on yourself and not necessarily on the environment or, you know, management or coworkers, you know, because hostile environments, they do exist, but you just want to make sure that you're not necessarily bad-mouthing previous employers, managers, coworkers. Bring it to yourself, you know, let your potential employer know, you know, it wasn't a good fit or how it wasn't a good fit for you, maybe what you're looking for. It's always great to add things that you are, you know, that you were glad that you had experience. Maybe this was just a stepping stone for you. So, you know, be honest, but don't necessarily go into a place where it's just a lot of information that can be negative or potentially red flag for that employer when they're talking to you. So I just remembered to mention that. So it looks like we don't have any questions, additional questions, but of course, you know, we're here to help. Ashley, I think you had some points.
I guess I just and 100% to everything that you just said, you know, prior, and we'll, you know, I personally just want to say thanks for taking the time, you know, with me today. This has been really fun. Thanks for anybody that's watching that can learn from this and become a better, more proactive, you know, honest job seeker. Really, you know, the best way, if you would love to be with Meador Staffing, if you're not already, is to apply through Meador.com. That's where you're going to start. You're going to register yourself, and we provide assistance with resume building, with, you know, just making sure that we can coach you beforehand so that you do really land that position and you're in a good position that, you know, your resume is reflective in what you wanted to say, that it's honest, and that, you know, we can help you be that proactive job seeker. So this has been really so much fun. Thanks for
it has. Thank you so much for joining me. And thank you all for watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone have a really wonderful day. Thank you.